at the Academy of Scholars. Welcome to another episode of Scholarly Speaking Live with Dr. Stacy Lambert-Johnson, the Director of Student Success at the Academy of Scholars. I am Benny Crane Jr., the Assistant Director of Student Success. Today's topic will discuss why the way parents talk to their children matters.
Thank you for joining us for today's live session. No matter where you're joining us from, whether you're at work or at home, we pray that you're having a great AOS day and hope that you can visit us here on campus someday soon. Last week, we talked about giving effective consequences for negative behavior. This week, we're talking about why the way you talk to your child matters. But before we get started, Benny, where can our viewers watch today's live session once it's over?
Everything from our show always ends up on our website, academyofscholars.com, including both the audio and video versions. If you prefer watching us, you can find the video on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you like listening to podcasts on your drive to work like I do, you can download the audio version anywhere you download your favorite podcasts. We want to take this opportunity to say hello to the people joining us live today. Also, shout out to the people who follow us on our social media platforms. We appreciate you joining us. Do us a favor, tell your friends we're on. All you have to do is hit that share button right there, comment, and tell us about how you communicate with your children. Do you talk to them in a way that empowers them? Or do you sometimes use words that they shouldn't use at school or even when talking to them? Tell us, we want to know.
Benny, our last couple of Scholarly Speaking Lives have been about children's behaviors. We've talked about parents providing incentives for children's positive behaviors and parents giving consequences for negative behaviors. All about the kids.
Yeah.
As parents, we expect our children to be well-behaved, have good manners, be first-time listeners,
Yes.
and be respectful. Our end goal, of course, in reinforcing positive behaviors and deterring negative behaviors is that we want our children to grow up to be successful, productive citizens, and being unruly and disrespectful just doesn't work toward accomplishing that goal. We focus on our kids' behaviors a lot, but what about our behaviors? As parents, we can't say to our children, do as I say, not as I do. Because guess what, parents? Our kids are going to do what we do and say what we say. Point blank, period.
Yes.
We are our children's first teachers.
And actions speak louder than words. Always. Stacy, you and I often talk about how we love what we do because we love kids.
Mm-hmm.
And some of our best stories about our scholars come from when a child ends up in our offices for one reason or another. Now, our scholars are such great kids that we're usually just counseling them more than anything. And many times it's for things that they may say to other kids. Now, we've had 4-year-olds calling other kids idiots, which is not funny, but it's kind of funny.
And losers, we've heard that too.
Yes. But the point is, when a 4-year-old uses a word like idiot or loser in its proper context, most times it's because they're hearing someone in their household use it, and many times it's their parents. And this is not an indictment on parents. My kids have possibly heard their father threaten to snatch the skin off their bodies before. I don't quite remember.
Might have to,
So today is just to give parents something to think about when talking to their children.
That's right. So, Benny, that's why we're talking today about why what we say to our children matters. The way that we talk to our children has a huge impact on them. Our tone, our voice, and our words matter and are essential in building healthy parent-child relationships.
What's tough about this one, Stacy, is my parents use threatening words towards me and my brothers when
Mine
we
did too.
misbehave. Mom, Dad, you're awesome. I'm nothing without you. I'm only talking about this for context. So with that being said, threatening just seems more effective when you use a tone with it. And it wasn't just my parents. Teachers and coaches did it to us, especially when we were younger,
Right.
which in turn put me in a position where I have to make a conscious effort not to do it.
You know what, Benny, that's so true. But as I always say, we have the information now to help us do better.
Yes.
So what should parents be aware of when communicating with their children? First, parents, be present in the conversation. Give your child your full attention. We talked about this before. Put your cell phone down, turn off the TV, and remove all distractions. If you can't do it at that moment, let them know that. You can say, Mommy would like to give you her undivided attention, but I can't right now. Give me 5 minutes and I'll be all yours. And then follow through on your promise. This simple act of being present will make your child feel important, seen, heard, and validated, which will grow characteristics in them such as being rational, honest, secure, and mindful.
Unfortunately, children are born without any respect for boundaries. So who hasn't had their child walk up to them while you're talking on the phone and you respond with a death stare and say, "Can't you see me on the phone?" And please avoid the temptation of saying, "Go on now, leave me alone."
Second, parents should actively listen. Make sure you give eye contact, ask questions, repeat their responses, and give feedback when communicating with your child. Again, this validates that they are being heard and that you value them as individuals.
And I'll add one more component of active listening that we've recommended to parents before on Scholarly Speaking. Getting down on the level of your child so you can be eye to eye with them. This really will help you connecting with your children.
Third, make sure you use the right words. Even when children are little, using their own language instead of made up words as they are learning to talk and express themselves, it's important for us as parents to not use those same words when communicating with them. Use proper words, vocabulary, and pronunciations around them, and while speaking to them so that they learn and improve their own vocabulary and communication skills to better express themselves.
This is a good one, Stacy. When I'm around my friends, you might hear what I like to call the Collie Park in me.
Collie Park.
Collie Park. For those of you who are not from Atlanta, that's College Park. And I understand how we pronounce and say things is based on where we're from and exposure. The reality is, when you're saying what that is right there, it teaches your children to say what that is. When you refer to something that belongs to you as mines, your children will think that's correct. The word mine is already possessive. Adding an S is incorrect. Words like specific, it's not pacific. So as cute as it is to hear your kids say things like papa instead of purple, make sure they know it's purple by responding, "Yes, I love that your color was purple today."
That's right. Now, fourth, and pay close attention to this one, parents. Words are powerful, and even more so as a parent. Proverbs 18:21 tells us that life and death are in the power of the tongue. What that says to me as a parent is that I can make or break my child with the words that I say to them. I can lift their spirits and give them life with encouraging, loving words, or I can kill their spirit with discouraging, belittling words meant to tear them down and not build them up.
Parents, I think you would be surprised to know how much your children parrot things you say. Like when a child tearfully told Stacy the other day, "I have to reevaluate my life."
Drama.
We knew this was something she had to have heard from home. She was 10 talking about math. Now, not only should we be speaking power into our children's lives, but we also should be speaking power into our own lives, because our children will take their cues from you on how to handle challenges in their lives.
So true. Now, fifth, parents should avoid saying certain words and doing certain things in front of their children, especially if you don't want to emotionally harm them or have them emulate your behavior. We always say that there's no parenting handbook, but this list of do's and don'ts is a good starting point.
Yes.
Like, don't talk down to children, including sarcasm. Do let them know that they are loved while you speak. Don't criticize family and friends continuously in front of children.
Or your children's teachers.
That's right. Don't criticize your children's teachers in front of your children, picking out negative points about them as individuals or their physical appearance. Do try to regulate and reflect on your own behavior and words and how it impacts your child. Don't compare them to other children. Do point out characteristics that you love about their personality and what makes them special. Don't fight verbally or physically in front of children. Do provide a warm, caring environment that protects your child physically, emotionally, and mentally. Don't curse or use foul language in front of or at your child. Do manage your emotions as an adult and regulate your behavior so that it does not negatively impact your child. And that includes yelling at your child as well. Research has shown that yelling at children is just as harmful as aggressive discipline. Do speak to your child nicely and calmly, modeling for them how to regulate their emotions no matter what the situation. Now, these may seem like common sense rules, but guess what? We've all fallen short. As long as we recognize our mistakes and pledge to do better, we'll be okay.
Hey man, I've never cursed or used foul language in front of my kids or compared them with other children, but I may be guilty about every other thing on that list at some point. And I promise you, on everything I love, I want to do better and I will. Parents, the point of our talks is never to condemn because we've been pretty transparent about our own shortcomings as parents.
My poor kids.
Instead, we just want to inspire you to be the best version of yourself you can be, because when we know better, we should do better.
Absolutely. Now, finally, parents, remember that children learn from our behavior. The surest way to get your child to speak nicely to others is for you to speak nicely to them. The surest way to make sure your child isn't critical of others is for you to not be critical of them. And the surest way to make sure that your child is respectful and kind is for you to be respectful and kind to them. Doing these things will bring you closer to your child. Doing otherwise will have the opposite effect. Well, what do you think? How would you describe the way you interact with your child daily? Would your child say that your interactions are patient and loving? Are you speaking words of life into your child? Did you learn something new from today's episode? Comment and let us know your thoughts on today's topic.
If you're looking for more information to help you talk to your child the right way, go to our website, academyofscholars.com/scholarly speaking resources. In the meantime, we suggest you check out Parent Talk, Words That Empower, Words That Wound by Chick Mormon. This remarkable book shares strategies that will guide you on how to talk to your children in language that builds their self-esteem and encourages responsibility. I love this book because it gives information that helps parents improve parenting skills and builds positive relationships with their children. And remember, no matter where you live in the world, you can give your child access to an exceptional Christian affordable education with the Academy of Scholars Premier Online Learning. Not only does the Academy of Scholars give your child the opportunity to engage in school at their own pace, but we also provide a comprehensive curriculum with classes like coding and computer science that will have your child excited about school each day. The Academy of Scholars Premier Online Learning is the online school you've been looking for.
I hope you enjoyed today's live session. To learn more about our amazing school, the Academy of Scholars, please go to our website at academyofscholars.com. Join us next week as we continue our live discussions. Next week, we'll be talking about understanding today's generation of children.
Ooh-wee.
Until next time, I am Dr. Stacy Lambert-Johnson.
And I'm Benny Crane Jr.
Saying goodbye and